ॐ ज्ञानसिद्धं तपःसिद्धं सर्वसिद्धं शिवप्रदं स्वयं सिद्धं अहं वन्दे सिद्धारूढयतीश्वरम्.
Chapter-02 Guru Smarana. Salutations to Siddhanatha, who is compassionate to his devotees, who has incarnated on earth as Lord Shiva, who has done his leelas with the dull-witted, and who has dispelled my ignorance, and who is my protective master. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Sadguru Siddharudaya Namaha. O Shri Siddharoodha, salutations be unto you. Your remembrance alone destroys all our obstacles. Such a man as that of you, make me write this book through my hand. The merciful Siddharoodha, who is always in the state of Brahman, incarnated in the human form on the earth for his devotees. India has been graced since time immemorial by incarnations, rishis, saints and sadhus for all the intense seekers of Brahmagnana, realization of God, on the earth. Thus, the supreme reality, Siddharoodha, was born in rural village of Chalakapura in Bidar district of present Karnataka state to the divine couple Guru Shantappa and Deva Mallamma. Both his father and mother were religious, and they were the passionate devotees of Lord Shiva. They were fond of the saints and sages. They had their family guru called Veerabhadraswamy. Sheltering him at their home, they worshipped him. Having pleased by their devotion, he preached the Brahmagnana related books like Shunya Sampadana, etc. As a result of constant listening to him, they attained Swarupa Bhava. Along the way, 3 sons were born to this couple. Siddharoodha was the third among them. He was born on Chaitra Shuddha Navami day, 26th March 1836. As a child, Siddha would sit with his mother to listen to the Shastras preached by Veerabhadraswamy. So he became an expert in Shastra Vichara when he was just 3 years old. Once during the Guru's preaching, the idea of Lingaikya, liberation, was told. He pondered the matter and he himself made up his mind to gain liberation. Consequently, he began to look at all the creatures equally. The rich and the poor, the high and the low were the same to him. Siddharoodha, as a little boy, he was in the habit of playing with his friends in the streets. One day, some of his friends asked him for sesame seeds. Assuring them, he took them to his house. Entering the kitchen, he found a small earthen pot containing the seeds hanging from the ceiling. It was too high to touch, so he took a stick and broke open the earthen pot from the bottom. Suddenly the seeds started cascading down through the hole. The boys collected the seeds as much as they could. On hearing this news, the neighbors also came and collected the seeds. They thought that it was nothing but the glory of incarnate Siddha, who appeared in the form of a little boy. A huge heap of seeds was left on the floor just below the pot. In the meanwhile, his mother came. Seeing the large quantity of seeds, she asked him, "Dear child, how did it happen?" Siddha replied, "Mother, I did nothing. This definitely happened because of your incomparable service to the great Guru. The sesame pot itself is the body of Jnani. The seeds which come from it are the wise words of Jnani. Though the wise words of Jnani do not reach the hearts of the fools, they certainly make them happy." On listening to these words, Deva Mallamma felt herself blessed and thought that Siddha was Shiva's incarnate. She felt proud of her son and rushed towards him to hug. However, escaping from her, he ran away to play with his friends. Once his mother said to Siddha, "My son, you are now 5 years old. You should go to the school to get education." Siddha replied, "Mother, what kind of job do you assign me? I have that school in me both internally and externally everywhere. I am ever blessed fully in my school where I see Parabrahman in my internal heart and also see the same in the external things. Your school makes one to forget one's own self, Swaswarupa, and fall into the vicious cycle of birth and death. What is the use of your school, mother?" Devamallamma listened to him and she was greatly surprised. From then onwards, she made him to do Vedanta Shravana at the feet of Guru. On another occasion, when little Siddha was playing with the boys, he saw a buffalo, got on it and said to his friends, "Imagine that I am riding an elephant and you play the musical instruments. Let's march in a procession to the village." The boys were excited and producing the sounds of various musical instruments, they began to move in the procession, but the buffalo did not move. The boys tried to make the buffalo move, but in vain. Enraged, Siddha cursed, "Buffalo, die!" Suddenly, it fell down dead. The boys ran to Siddha's mother and said to her, "The moment Siddha cursed your buffalo, it died." Hearing this shocking news, Devamallamma, terrified with grief, came running to Siddha. She asked him, "What did you do? Why did you kill the buffalo?" "Oh my God, Shiva, Shiva, what do I do now?" Feeling pity on her, Siddha said, "Mother, if you really want the buffalo, why should you become so sad?" He chanted Panchakshari mantra, "Om Namah Shivaya," and touched the buffalo. All at once it stood up. The nearby people said with a great surprise, "Oh, this is really unusual." Some others said, "He has come in the form of Ishvara or Vishnu or any other sage for the welfare of us." Siddha said to them, "O blessed ones, listen to me. Aham Buddhi, egoistic intellect, itself is a buffalo. Though Atma alighted on it to destroy the Tamoguna, it did not move at all. The moment Atma willed, this Aham died. Suddenly Maya, illusion, who protected Aham for a long time, came running and requested Atma to make Aham alive. Having heard this, Atma saved Aham. Now that Aham behaves peacefully in the world." Listening to this profound thought, they went back saying this, "Though small he is, his knowledge is beyond logical reasoning, and his mother is really blessed, and we too are blessed in the company of this great soul." On still further occasion, Siddha asked his friends to come to the pond with him to have a bath. Overjoyed with the idea, they followed him. They were ready to take their bath, but one of them had a great fear of water. So he stood on the bank of the pond. But Siddha wanted to remove his fear and dragged him forcibly to the deep water. When the boy began to shout, frightened with fear, the others asked Siddha many times to leave him, but he did not. However, they tried to hold Siddha. He escaped from them and drowned the boy in deep water. As soon as Siddha came to the bank, his companions said to him, "Oh Siddha, you killed the boy. We don't know anything." Siddha said to them, "Why do you create such a drama? His fear has been removed, and from now onwards he never feels sorrow. In return, they said, "Yes, it's true, because when he is no more, where is fear?" Some of them went to the boy's mother and informed her about what had happened in the pond. Hearing the news of her only son's death, at once she came to the pond and said, "What kind of wickedness this is?" Siddha replied her, "O mother, your son is immersed in Paramatma, who is in the form of water. He is now fearless." Listening to this, she said angrily, "Enough, enough. Stop your Vedanta. You have really killed my son. Bring back my dead son from the pond." Merciful Siddha said, "O mother, don't get frightened. Your son is alive, enjoying the bliss. Now call him with his name. Certainly he will come out." The mother shouted, "O Devadatta, come." At once the billow was raised from the water, and the boy appeared on the surface, came swimming to the bank. His mother rushed towards and embraced her son tenderly. She asked him where he had gone. She thought that he was dead. The boy told her mother with a smile on his face that he was experiencing the eternal bliss, and now again the sorrowful world surrounded him. Then the mother, with tears in eyes, and said to him, "It's good that you have survived. If not, I would have also died by falling into the pond." She embraced him again and again. Seeing this, all the people were puzzled at the act of Siddha. Siddharoodha said to them, "O virtuous men, hear me. This boy himself is a jiva, individual soul, in the state of ignorance. He is afraid of abiding in Brahman by leaving Upadhi aside. As he is full of fear, he can't escape pain. So the kind Sadguru made him immersed in Brahmananda first and made him abandon the body conscious." Thus, listening to these wise words of Siddha, they all said, "This is really incarnate of Mahadeva. Otherwise, how is it possible to get such a knowledge and greatness?" Saying thus, they came to salute at the lotus feet of Siddha, but he ran home, escaping their salutes. On another day, Siddhanatha took his friends to a place where jambu trees were there. As soon as they entered this place, his friends began running here and there in search of good and tasty fruits. Siddha stood at a particular spot and told to himself, "Attracted by Maya, illusion, engrossed in senses and sensual pleasures, they have forgotten me, who is the creator of the whole universe. Now, having dragged them towards me, I must preach them something about Viveka, discrimination." The wonder Siddha made was, as soon as he threw a jambu fruit, a heap of fruits was created. He called his friends. They were pleased to see the huge heap of jambu fruits. They exclaimed with joy that those were better than any other fruit they had seen. They asked him how he had got them. Speaking thus, they picked the fruit and ate them. They made small bundles of them and began to start for home. Siddha told them that they had eaten fruits to their satisfaction, but they had forgotten him who had created them. They agreed and told him that God had created them and they had forgotten him. They realized how ignorant they were and decided to leave the bundles there. Siddha said to them, "O brothers, you may leave the fruits, but your mind's eye will see them and desires to have them. You have to conquer your mind. The mind always runs after the senses. You may close your eyes, but can't close the mind. The body conscious is always firm. Therefore, one must meditate to give up aham. The means like upavasa, etc., won't help. Meditation leads to the knowledge of self. First know thyself. This will help you to know the Brahman, Supersoul. Once you are engrossed in Brahmananda, eternal bliss, sense thought does not remain. Now you can take as many fruits as you can. Then they collected and started moving. They were walking behind Siddharoodha. Seeing a snake on the way, they ran in all directions as they could, but Siddharoodha stood near the snake and called them, "Don't fear, this is a dead snake." Though Siddha said this, they feared to come near. In spite of many calls, they were hesitant to come near. He picked up the snake and showed it to them, and then they came near. At that time, Siddhamuni said to them, "See, the people are scared of seeing the mere sight in the world, but this is wrong. The internal state of all objects can be seen in stable, purified mind. The people don't think of this. After the Guru Upadesha, the Antardrushti, internal sights open Sat Swarupa Sthiti, and then there is nothing to fear." The moment they heard the thought-provoking words of Siddha, a new way of thoughts was generated in their little hearts. Then they left Siddharoodha to his house and they went home joyfully. Sri Siddharoodha's greatness is immeasurable. Words cannot describe his glory. One who describes the quality of Siddharoodha will cross the ocean of birth and death. Sri Siddharoodha Kathamrutha, which destroys all sins merely by hearing. Thus, Shivadasa dedicates the beautiful second chapter of Sri Siddharoodha Kathamrutha to the lotus feet of Sri Siddharoodha.
ವಂದಿಸುವೆ ಶ್ರೀ ಸಿದ್ಧನಾಥಗೆ ಭಕ್ತ ಕರುಣಾಕರನಿಗೆ, ನಂದಿವಾಹನ ನಿರ್ದುಧರೆಯೋಳವತರಿಸಿ ಬಂದಾತಗೆ, ಮಂದಮತಿಗಳ ಕೂಡಲೀಲಾ ಮಾಡಿಯುದ್ಧರಿ ಪಾತಗೆ, ಅಂಧಕಾರವ ತಪ್ಪಿಸೆನ್ನನು ಪಾಲಿಸುವ ಗುರುನಾಥಗೆ.